So, okay.
Creating your own online persona.
There you go. Well, we're all jerks, so that's a good start. So, yeah, probably the best way to start, probably just go into how we got into what we're doing. I mean, I think it's a very legit way of starting off here. Pretty much, I started out doing it just sort of like a hobby. It was like these 5-second movies I was just doing for fun. And what happened is it really caught on. A lot of people were watching them. And I knew I had an audience, but I didn't know what to do with them. I wasn't getting any money for it. So I started doing this character called Nostalgia Critic, and that really caught on. And I just sort of kept going from there. But I kept getting kicked off of YouTube because, like, 20th Century Fox or whatever would be like, "Oh, copyright YouTube." So finally, I was very lucky. I came across a friend of a friend named Mike Machado, who's starting his own company called Channel Awesome. And he saw the views I was getting, he saw the talent I had, and he said, "I'd like to give you your own website, essentially. But I mean, you have to, you know, I mean, we can make it where you can profit from this." This is like when nobody was profiting from it. But you have to do it like full time, pretty much. I mean, I had to give up my other job and really take a risk on this. So I went in, I was doing 3 videos a week, and he put the site together, and he found out a way to make money off of it, because I don't have a business mind at all. You know, and then he also had the idea to do like the community thing, you know, and the forums and get other producers on board and stuff like that. So, and it's just been going steady ever since, just constantly pushing out material. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, a lot of that's really true about, you know, quit your job, take a risk on it and everything. The Angry Video Game Nerd started as like just a joke. I was making films, you know, for years and years, and I would sometimes act in my movies, but only when my friends weren't available or I had to fill in a role that someone else was, you know. What's going on here?
Forgot to turn the audio off.
Yeah, so the nerd didn't really become a character till I did the second game review. The first one was just like narration, and then the second one was like, I'm going to appear on camera now and actually give it some kind of on-screen persona, and that's how it started for me. You should look to the next person. It's like pass it down.
Dear God. I originally started this character writing a comic back in 09, I think it was, or 08. And I thought to myself, like, how am I going to get an artist to draw this comic for me because I can't draw anything beyond stick people? I'm going to dress up like this character that I want to do, and I'm going to go to FanX, and I'm going to see if I can find one of the artists that's there. So I went, and I thought, oh, you know, it'd be a really great idea to get people excited for the character to see if I can get an artist to jump on board with the project, is to go into a masquerade thing with it, because that's a minute worth of time in front of your entire target audience. And I said, okay, fine, I'm going to do that. I kept doing more masquerade stuff. I kept going to more conventions and showing up, acting the character, trying to find an artist until someone was like, "Hey, why don't you like do some short videos with that stuff?" And I'd been doing short videos since I was in high school. I figured, fine, why not? People have been bugging me to do it for a while, so I started just, you know, kicking up the channel. And I sadly don't make any money off of what I'm doing, but I do it anyways because I absolutely love it, and it's 2 tons of fun, and I hope one day to get paid to do it, but I'm going to keep doing it regardless of whether or not I do. Soon.
Joke's on you, it's American.
I got a deep with the mob, and then how I started was I was on a message board where I'd been there for a couple of years. I was writing these written movie critiques where actually I got a fair amount of hate. Where I actually wrote some of the first negative reviews of The Phantom Menace, which at the time, now people are kind of universally agree that they're crap. Back then, people were really kind of fooling themselves into thinking they liked it. I took a lot of heat for that, believe me. So I just started making these reviews, you know, doing old games and movies and stuff like that. A lot of people accuse me of ripping him off. Not true. I was ripping someone else off entirely. I was only like barely aware because this was just starting, you know, like, so he wasn't even really established back then. But yeah, it was really just to make my friends laugh, you know. It was like I had these friends on the forum, and I just kind of started doing it to entertain them, and it just kind of snowballed. They told their friends, and they told their friends, and then all of a sudden, people were asking me if I was doing any more, and so I did. And so it was just kind of funny. At some point, YouTube started paying serious attention to me in the form of banning me.
The force is strong with this one.
So, you know, I was,
You know you've made it when you get banned.
yeah. So from then on, I just started looking at my subscribers, and I moved to a different network, and it's just gotten bigger ever since.
It started as a pyramid scheme.
It can work for you.
Sign me up! Like with Spoony, it started off as written reviews of comic books, usually in the style of the Agony Booth or Djibouti, which focused on movie and TV reviews. No one really did, people still did comic reviews at the time, but I didn't know they existed at the time, so I was like, hey, I'll do full recaps of bad comic books, starting with Youngblood #1, because it's pretty universally easy to make fun of, and I thought it'd be a good practice for, you know, starting it out. After a year or so of doing that, I tried to do it weekly for a while. It didn't hold, because it's hard. It takes patience and dedication to do that, especially if you're not getting paid to do it. And so it started to become once a month, and then once in a blue moon. And then eventually I discovered that guy over there.
Glasses.
Yeah, the invisible one. And my badge fell down. But from there I decided, hey, why don't I try to do this with comic books? This fell off. Anyway, I decided, why don't I try to do this with comic books? And it worked. People seem to really like them and latch onto them, despite the poor lighting and the fact that I spoke in a very soft-spoken manner about the things that I was hating.
Probably the first guy to do that. Seriously, like comics?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and just from there, the character has kind of evolved a little bit. I started adding storylines to the videos to try to get people to have an incentive to come back every week to find out what's the next thing that's going to happen with it. And people seem to really like it. At least you do, unless you are here just to throw things at me. I know you're here to do that. Anyway, why do I think I'm caught on? Hard to say exactly. I'd like to think that I'm funny. That can't be true. Otherwise, I think that I do offer something a little different than some of my compatriots. Nothing against them, of course.
No.
I am one of the few reviewers out there. I'm one of the few reviewers out there who does not say the F word, the S word, the C word.
Not on camera.
Not on camera. I'm serious. I swear like a sailor off panel, off the screen.
Like a fucking wagon.
Hell, Michigan. And, yeah, that's I think helped a little bit because I've gotten emails from people who say, "I'm so happy that you don't say these things because then I can show them around younger kids, even though some of the subject matter you deal with is adult. They just don't understand it, but they don't say the naughty words and parrot them." Otherwise, yeah, stories, imaginative characters, people seem to like them, and that's it. Don't look at me!
Mine's a weird scenario because I think the main reason people like me is because they kind of know that I'm real with you guys. It's kind of weird where like some critics you follow even though you disagree with them because at least you can trust them to be them. You know, so at least you can sometimes identify with them because of that. It's kind of been a blessing and a curse because oftentimes people don't know when I'm joking. And it's tough to finger, and so that's actually why, in many ways, I might have significantly failed in creating an online persona because there's almost no distinction between, you know, the vlogs and the reviews. Some people get really confused by that. Yeah. So maybe I'm not the best guy to talk about that, you know, in many ways.
Get out!
You probably know more
I'm
than
confiscating your Timbits.
It's tough because I think it's because people can believe me, you know, and they know that I'm pretty legitimately mad at most of the games that I review. Because I grew up, you know, I choose stuff that I grew up with. I don't very much pick stuff just arbitrarily. So, you know, I usually have a personal connection. So the emotion you see it's exaggerated, but it's still pretty much real. So that's what I got. I don't know. Well, it's a bit of a sad story. When I initially came up with this character, I wanted to tell the story about why the villain wanted to take over the world, because in too many stories you see there's a good guy and he's got his motivations, and then the bad guy's just like, I'm gonna wreck things and it's gonna be great, but nobody asks why. Why does the person, like, you're seeing it a lot more in stories nowadays. There's the whole sympathy for the devil thing, like they really try to give villains depth, and I like that. But I thought I was being original when I sat down and I wrote this character out, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna, like, I made my costume, I'm like, I'm gonna go to FanX, this is gonna be awesome. And then Joss Whedon's like, hey, look, guys, there's this thing called Dr. Horrible. I'm like, screw you, man. I got recognized more times as Dr. Horrible than Dr. Insane was. And I showed up, and it's like, I'm wearing all of this stuff in tubes on my gloves, and someone's like, are you Dr. Horrible? I'm like, in what way does this look like that to you? But, and then the same thing happened with when I started the vlogs, because that wasn't my intention when I got going. A friend of mine was like, you should totally start doing these like vlog videos. And I was like, no, because that's going to keep relating me back to Dr. Horrible, and I don't want to keep doing that. They're like, no. He just talks about his own personal stuff. Do it like Philip DeFranco. Talk about your opinions about stuff that's going on. Because a lot of people will have vlogs where they give their opinion on world views and about what's happening out there in the news and stuff like that. Nobody's ever had a villain's opinion on everything that's going on. What does the evil community think about this crap that's going on out there? I was like, well, there is Rush Limbaugh. I think personally that might be why it's picked up, because it's sort of the real world kind of look at what it's like to be a supervillain, and the life bits in there, and I think that's my best opinion as to why that's going as well as it is.
There's so many different ways I could go about this. So I'm trying to think where to focus this. I guess one thing I did was talked about a lot of games that people remembered when they were kids. So it's sort of focused on, you know, this generation that grew up with Nintendo and Sega Genesis and everything. So a lot of people remember the games, and that really helps that they hear someone talking about something that they remember. And then also I sort of just developed this nerd character. I self-proclaimed myself as a nerd. And like before, that term used to be a little like derogatory, like, oh, you're such a nerd, you know, like it's not, but we're all nerds, so it's like anybody who has a concentrated interest on something or, you know, whatever, it's, but yeah, so I'm like, I'm a nerd, so let me just do like an exaggeration of myself, and it was kind of like a stereotypical like throwback to like 80s nerd characters, like Steve Urkel or something. And then I started to realize that when I first started these videos, a lot of people, they didn't know it was like a character, and they just thought this was really me. And then I started being like, well, wait, no, this is just a joke. But then I had to stop myself and be like, well, wait a minute, that's the greatest thing ever. I mean, if you convince people that you're this real thing, you know, that's like the hook. But now I think, I mean, most people, like, they get it, but they'll appreciate your character, but they'll also appreciate your real person too. If you give your honest opinions on things, so you don't always have to, you know, exaggerate it too much. So yeah, that's what I think my story is. Yeah.
And one thing that we all have in common, that probably all, you know, comedians really have in common, is that you know, we're angry people. We're, you know, and we're yelling and screaming. You know. And I think the reason that works is because all comedy is based on misery, and when we see people suffer, yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, when we see it happen, I mean, we like, even the bum, who's very positive and very upbeat, yeah, you're laughing because he's a bum, you know.
Or a homeless person.
But at the same, but you can find the positivity in it. But I mean, it's still laughing at something negative, or what he's talking about, or making fun of, or just his interpretation, which is so different. It's mocking what was supposed to be taken seriously. But with something like Nostalgia Critic, I think something else we also hit on is the nostalgia. And a lot of how and why I caught on, I'm not gonna lie, is a lot of luck, because I got on at just the right time. and I think, because I was going through that nostalgic phase, I think everybody goes through, and now Hollywood knows everybody's going through it, and they're trying to make money off it too. And I'm just as bad. It's in my name, nostalgia critic. But I think finding that and being so fascinated by it, because I think people do sort of go through that change, like, wow, this isn't as good as I remember it. Why do I remember this being good? And people really find that fascinating. And I think even with like games that you grew up with, or comics you grew up with, or even just games and comics, this is all stuff we grew up with, or mad scientists and stories. I mean, we grow up with this stuff, so we automatically have a connection to it. So I think I was just sort of lucky to find that connection at that time when nobody, outside of James, nobody else at the time was really super well known for doing it. Of course, writing his coattails really helped too. Yeah, I think. And a lot of it just came from what made me laugh in a character. Like, I really liked, Daffy Duck growing up. So there was a lot of Daffy Duck in the Nostalgia Critic. And just anything you like, you sort of just incorporate into it. I think the other reason that it caught on as well as it did is that it was constant. It was consistent. I mean, every week you would see at least a new Nostalgia Critic. And when people have something they can just keep coming back to, that's great. If you have something that's once a month, you can keep it up. But it's tougher, and you probably won't get as many views because people like patterns. They like coming back to, I've had a rough week, at least I can depend on this, and they like coming back to that. So, yeah, I think for me a lot of it was timing. Timing! I think a lot of it was timing and good luck, but I think it just sort of that persistence and finding that right hook and that right angle. Really helped out a lot. So, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's start taking questions from people.
What are your opinions on trying to put multiple characters into the same review?
It's time consuming because, of course, you have to get into the mindset of the other characters that you're doing. Sometimes it's really rewarding because, of course, each individual character that you do, people are fans of them and they like some over the others. But otherwise, it can be a lot of fun. It's just whether or not you can pull it off is the other thing. Well, I mean, it's some of these characters, they really hurt your voice, and if you have a limited time frame to put something together, it can be very frustrating. And of course, if you're an actor and you can, get into the mindset of that person and speak like them and know exactly what it is, it's difficult then to get out of it and then jump into another one. It's doable, and if you're really good at it, then more power to you, but it's not always something you want to do necessarily every week.
It's tough for me because I have no crew. I have to shoot everything myself, and I don't know anybody else, so I always have to be the one who gets in the costume. It sucks because I don't know any women.
I mean, honestly, for me, for whatever reason, going to characters has always been very easy. Even if they're not good characters, I've made a lot of bad characters. I like it, but there is a real downside that people can only look at your face for so long. And there's only so long. I mean, if it's just you doing a review, that's one thing. That's all your show. But if you're going to play every character, I mean, people just, dude, this guy has an ego. I mean, it's like, he's everybody. He's the women. What the hell? And she has a beard. What? It's good to create characters, but try to have other people on standby, because it is true. There's only so long people can look at your ugly mug.
How do you release something so often?
In my case, since I've been releasing one video per week for about 3-4 years now, I've gotten it down to a system. I know what I can do and how fast I can put stuff together. So a lot of it comes down to patience. If you can write a second script ahead of time and film both episodes at once and then just power on through it, it is possible to have something ready in advance.
I am so not the guy to talk about regular schedules. Because I've sort of flip-flopped between being able to put out to about 2 videos a week in some cases. There was even one point when I was doing the Vita Challenge, which was vlogging every day of April. Wow. And each of the videos was about 3 to 4 minutes long, and it was every single day, and that was a mission to get that stuff done, especially considering there's a con halfway through. It really depends on how much effort you put into it.
For me, a lot of it's, sad to say, give up your social life. and get married, have a wife that'll keep you sane. But the upside to that is that if you're doing what you love, it almost doesn't matter. Because it doesn't feel like time is going by. I mean, it's just, one of the things honestly for me is that the time management, is really bad for me when I'm doing something new, because honestly, I'm loving it so much, and it doesn't feel like so much time is going by.
If I can throw out another suggestion, just on the point of getting stuff out while you're out and about, either you have the technical ability to edit on the go, or you do what Doug has done several times now and be willing to film at a convention and work around it to produce content even while you're on the go.
Yeah, and that's just be clever. And if you love it, it's much easier to be clever.
Take advantage of the resources you have.
Yeah.
Like, how long was it, like, when you were doing it before you kind of realized, wow, this is really kind of successful?
When you get paid.
Final Fantasy VIII, that my viewership exploded when I did something.
Maybe when I was first invited to conventions, or people just stopping me on the streets and saying, "Oh my God, you're that guy. Do I am a man?"
When I really picked up, I think that for me, when people started paying attention was actually when I started to do my very first videos. When another guy who goes to local conventions, I don't know if anybody you know this guy, the Savage Bandito.
Yes.
Yeah. When I got started, I had a girl who was, my sidekick per se, who had her own costume and persona, who'd follow me around and help me out with a bunch of stuff. I, without planning, got a video online on YouTube that was like, I've captured your sidekick, and she's there, like, tied to a post, and he's just like, yeah, so, like, this is a ransom, I want you to do a thing. And I'm sitting there watching it going like, what the hell? Like, half of me was like, this so excited, like, this guy's just like doing this content with me, and the other half was like, what he steals from me. We immediately, like, I just, like, no contact with this guy. I just immediately fired a video back, and then he came back at me with another one, and I fired a video back, and we kept doing that until we got together and did this short video together, like, I was duking it out. And people went bananas for it. Like, the people that saw it were like, this is a lot of fun. Geez, you should do this more. And I was like, yeah, okay. Like, this looks like it could be, a good time. And that, for me, really, was when it picked up. Is when other people start acknowledging your stuff and wanting to get involved in it.
Well, for me, I mean, it was a gradual thing. I think the moment I felt like it was like famous, like I felt like it was big, was just like I guess really from the beginning it was like all it takes for me is just like one message on MySpace, and it's like hey, I like your videos. It's like, oh, that's cool. Someone out there likes it. Because that's what the way I grew up making films. You didn't really have a way to distribute it much. It was just on VHS tapes, and you would just pass them around in school or something, and someone would see them. And you'd hear, like some people would say stuff back, and that was it. It was just small numbers, and it was all manageable. Once it got to where it was like so many comments that you can't even even read them all, then it's like, okay, this is big. So that's where it got big for me. Just when it got to the point where you couldn't read all the comments.
All right, did I not go? I mean, for me, actually, I'm sorry. I'll say it real quick. I mean, there is something really cool where it's like when you're doing it for fun, it's wonderful and it's fantastic seeing the fans. When you're getting paid for it, that's like, what the hell? The world's upside down. I'm getting paid to do what I love. This is crazy. So I mean, I didn't mean it like when I get the money. It's really fascinating when somebody's like, I will give you goods to keep doing this, and that's really fascinating to me. So I really meant that when I said getting paid.
You're such a sellout.
It's not that I'm greedy. It's touching that someone will actually give you something to keep doing.
Basically, just average Joes in your basement started filming yourself with your webcams or something like that, and now you're really having a big impact on people, and you're kind of working outside of the industry. You're not like, you don't have big studios behind you and all that, so you're really democratizing the media. We can see people like us just doing things and getting all these people coming to see them and caring about what they say. And I was wondering how you feel about that.
Well, it helps that as Doug said, we got on at the right time to do this kind of thing. And it's only just now getting to the point where a lot of people can pull that off and just get on there and produce things. Mind you, it doesn't happen overnight. And a lot of people still have been doing this for years and are still having difficulties with it. A lot of it is luck, a lot of it is talent, but how we feel about it, I feel frankly great about it. I feel awesome that we don't have to follow the established systems anymore, that we can go independent. I mean, look at this man over here. He's making a movie about his character. He went to Hollywood, made that movie, and you just know, yeah!
tank. Still can't get over that.
I do like if there's any kind of impact I've made, it's that I've helped people somewhat analyze movies a little bit more. Sometimes you watch a movie, you don't even think about it. A lot of the Michael Bay stuff, it's one of those switch your brain off. And if anything, I've kind of raised self-awareness about actually thinking about the story to the point where I sociopathically nitpick. But yeah, people have told me, like, I didn't used to think about this. I really didn't recognize the crap I was watching, and you've kind of exposed me to a higher culture. So, yeah.
The reason I started doing this was so that I could inspire people to be better and to do more and to take a more active stance on what it was that they were doing, because the character in and of itself that I wrote was someone who just didn't want to accept things that were happening anymore. And I like the way that it's sort of been accepted by a lot of people, because I have had people that I don't know message me and say that, they feel better about what it is that they're doing, or they want to take a more active stance in their community about improving things like politics. I feel really great about that, I think would be the word on that. In terms of how easy it's been, again, like this gentleman here, I was doing this when I was in junior high. Like, I was just making stupid videos and then, putting them on my goofy little camera, hooking them up to a TV in like one of the library rooms, and then, some people would get together and watch these fun little videos. The fact that I can share that infinitely on the internet has been an unprecedented experience. This is something that the world's never experienced prior to this, is the ability to share information at an almost infinite capacity. So that is, and getting on board with that at the right time. I feel like I'm just coming in a little too late, but I'm working on it.
Oh yeah, I don't have much to add, but I really love how you said it, how you've articulated that, because everything you said that's like my life mission, basically, to change the way cinema is done, and I guess just to massacre. That's why it's called Cinemassacre. What I do.
The freedom that we have is fantastic. You really don't find it anywhere else. And I think people forget how rare that is, actually. To actually have freedom to sort of do and say, so much in your opinion. And for me, though, it's very much the thing that does it for me is when I'll get an email that says, like, dude, you're the highlight of my week. I need your stuff to survive the stress I'm going through. Or, like, I have depression and you've helped me through that. Or somebody has died. You helped me through that. I'm in Afghanistan. You're helping me through that. Wow. I mean, it's like stuff like that is like, and it started from you just filming something, in a room just for youngs. And it's like now you're getting stress relief. And you do think about when things do become so stressful, how much you need a release as well. And it's cool to think like you're that release. And so I think for me, I sort of went in with the same goal he did. Like, I wanted to change, film. I wanted to tell my stories and stuff. I'm realizing more and more the stories I want to do and tell, a lot of people my generation did, and they are doing it, and they're actually doing it well. I actually think cinema's doing pretty, and TV, like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, is actually doing pretty well. So now for me, it's sort of been replaced by, instead of wanting to change film, very much just I want to be that stress relief for people. And if I could get my ideas out there, great, but if I can make people feel better, that's the one.
That guy's been having his hand up all day.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a question for you, Spoony and you, Doug. The first question is, where does the inspiration for Dr. Insano come from?
Actually, what's funny is I didn't know this. There's actually a webcomic called Dr. Insano. I didn't know that.
Dr. Sleepless.
No. Dr. Sleepless was really the main inspiration behind it, because he was this character who intentionally wanted to be this really cinematic, stereotypical supervillain. For various reasons, but he was like, you can't be a mad scientist unless you wear goggles. So he was that kind of guy, and so I was at a costume shop and I saw these crazy X-ray goggles, and I was like, that was really the character. That's what the character is. It's just the crazy goggles. Everything else just kind of falls out from under that. Because anyone can be Dr. Insano. You've seen it, cosplayers, all that stuff. That's what it is. I mean, it's just the guy who loves what he does. It just happens to be creating really fucked up things with science.
Do you have a channel awesome joining the Dr. Insano?
What?
during one of your reviews with Linkara, wasn't there like one scene where like there was a whole bunch of
Oh, the Crisis of Infinite Insanos. Yeah, we did that whole thing with Hyper Time, just where like everyone who wanted to be Insano kind of got in that room. But yeah, the Dr. Insano's inspiration was really Dr. Sleepless and just the notion that goggles make the character.
The question for you, Doug, is where did Santa Christ come from?
The North Pole.
It came from my brother who claims he loves being behind the scenes and can't act, saying, I don't do anything in front of the camera, I want to do something. So I finally just said, okay, I'm going to give you the most awesome character in the friggin' world. It's going to be Jesus Christ and Santa Claus. And it's just like, okay. That was pretty much it. I just wanted to create, just this really awesome character that's just the biggest combination of just pleasantness and niceness and comfort and warmth and Santa Christ. So that's pretty much what I did.
How and why did you decide what your characters were gonna wear on screen?
For me, it's really, and it's funny, like, with the nostalgia Craig, I like the idea, like, he starts to put a suit on and he just sort of gives up halfway through. So, like, he wants to be professional, but he doesn't want to go all the way with it. So there's that, but then it's funny, for something like Ask That Guy or The Bum, it's just sort of whatever I had lying around. And it's so funny that like, the bum's jacket is like my grandfather's old jacket, and the hat's just an old bear's hat I used to have, this wig as a wig, just whatever I can sort of find. And now people are like, when they want to cosplay or get dressed up, they're like looking for that exact jacket and that exact hat, and they want to find something as close as possible. It's just so funny. It's like people want the preciseness of that costume, and when I was putting it together, I was like, this might work. Whatever I got. So yeah, it's just sort of how you visually see it. The more visually you can make an impact, usually the more they remember a character. So, it has to be very distinct.
Yeah, when I did the nerd, I did not think about it for more than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I just put on the shirt just to look like a nerd. That was just the idea. Like some of the nerds I remembered from like the movies. And then, but then I did Board James, and because you're kind of stuck with that decision you make for the rest of the series, and you can't really change it. And I did Board James, and that was, I didn't really think much about that either, other than like, let me just make it look different than the nerd, and make it more focused on, this is more just board games, kind of like a kid. I'm just wearing a lot of different things that, you'd wear as a child maybe. And then the nerd movie, I remember like, that was the first time I had a conscious decision to like alter the costume a little bit, because I thought, well, if I'm going from the regular episodes to the movie, I'm going to make it like in the Star Trek movies when they wear a different So I'm like, yeah, I'll change it a little bit so that it looks like, okay, this is the movie version, but not to change it too much where you don't recognize what it is anymore.
Mine's easy, it's just a lab coat and goggles. Yeah. When I got started originally, I was going with A, what I had on hand, and B, how I wanted the character to look. I had an old lab coat that my dad had lying around, and on all the characters that I've written and designed, I've always given them really big hand gear, because I always just find really interesting when characters have like these really big, like honking hands by comparison to, a smaller figure. I like the flowingness of a coat, where it is akin to the flowingness of a cape, but it's just cooler than that. And I felt that there are too many mad geniuses or just science people in general that wear goggles. I actually found these. I found these blind people's glasses way back when I was living in Guelph, and you actually can't see through these very well. No. Like they're not meant to block out sunlight, they're meant to block out light. Try go for it. It's ridiculous. And I put them on, I had to look at myself in the mirror with my gear on, and I was like,
Tell somebody that these are sunglasses and make them wear it.
yeah. The rest of the
You can take the red
Where do you see all of your characters going? What's the future look like?
I'll go. Actually, there's big things in the horizon for my character because there's been a lot of changes in my life, and I kind of mirror that in my videos. But if you paid attention, especially to the Ultima series, you all know it's leading up to something big. So yeah, you're gonna see when I finally finish Ultima 9 where this is really going. And I don't want to tell you because it's really exciting, but yeah, things are going to be big for my character.
Are you entirely sure?
What year is it? For me and Doc, I'm going to be completely honest, I have no idea. I have, if anybody's been paying attention with the content I've been putting up, I've really been shotgunning in terms of where I'm trying to find a comfortable medium. I've been doing the news bits, a la Philip DeFranco. I've been doing a lot of just random short videos. I've tried just like flat out vlogging. And a lot of it's really fun. I think I may keep doing all of it in smaller portions. I'm looking to find something that I can do in greater capacity. I don't know if I want to start reviewing stuff or doing videos of me playing games, which would be a lot of fun, but it's being done, right? I know that I'm not going to stop. That much I'm aware of. But I'm just not sure where it's going to take me. And to be frank, I'm excited about that.
As far as the nerd goes, I'm sure it'll always be around in some way. Even
Yeah.
if I'm not cranking out episodes as fast as I used to. It's something that's just like a part of me that'll it'll never go away. You know, it's a great thing to have. You know, I hope one day I could be like Adam West. If they're still not making Batman, it's still Batman is like such a part of him that it never goes away.
We've always wanted to do sort of more variety of shows and different shows and stuff like that, and you'll probably see that coming up in the future, in the near future. So definitely look forward to that. With the characters, whenever I feel I'm done with a character, I'll stop doing them because I don't want to force them. But I don't want to stop doing this. I don't want to stop making videos and entertaining people and being stress relief. And guys, you are a huge stress relief for us. Thank you so much for showing up.
Take off the hat.